Hi, I'm TJ. Thanks for joining me. This is the video instruction manual for REEDTower, Reed Preservation System. If you've already purchased REEDTower, thank you so much. I do hope it works for you and it works for many, many, many years to come. If you're just thinking about looking at REEDTower, well, this video instruction manual will give you all the information you need to know, but you might want to have some questions. So go to the REEDTower.com website and you'll see a F.A.Q page. Answer all the questions that you may have. If you have any more questions, you certainly can use the contact page to contact me. TJ, I'm always happy to help you. Let's get started. Okay, let's start out by checking out what's in the box here. This is the REEDTower box. The REEDTower box comes with two boxes inside. The first box holds the casing for the REEDTower CO2 AltAir, and it has the center column, very important part of REEDTower. It has 6 vertical pressure bound reed holders, okay, and it has the Presta valve set up. The second box, okay, holds the REEDTower vertical case. It also has 6 more REEDTower vertical pressure bound reed holders, and it has a starter kit for your CO2. That is a nozzle, 4 CO2 cartridges, a protective sleeve, and this little thing here, this is so that you can change out the core of the Presta valve when it wears out. It may do that after a period of time. You can buy cores and you can buy cartridges for CO2 at many, many different retailers inexpensively. So what's the first thing that you want to do is you want to take the REEDTower lid, the CO2 lid, and you want to put on the Presta valve. Very simple. Take that, put it in the back here, slide it all the way in. Take the little washer here, put that over there. All right. Take the nut, screw that on. All right. Let's get it started here. There we go. And you want to screw this down with just your fingers. Don't use any tools. You don't want to have too much tension or could potentially break the lid. You just want to twist it down all the way down here as we assemble this. There we go. Nice and tight like that. Okay. You'll see here right at the top, get real close on that. Right at the top here, there is a little open and closing valve on the Presta valve. You see that? Okay. You want to make sure that's completely closed. That's a safety valve that makes sure that no air can escape when you're not using it. And then you want to put the cap back on. Okay. Awesome sauce, right? Then we take the center column. We'll move this. This is the center column. Very important part of REEDTower. What this is for, this channels the air that comes in from the lid. It channels it down through the bottom, up through the channels, the sides where the reeds sit, inside the REEDTower AltAir case. So first thing you want to do, right? Let's see, I'll put that back here. Let's grab, what's your favorite color? I like the blue. Let's grab a blue. There we go. All right, you want to take the tab on the blue or any other color. Lift the tab with your finger like that. Grab your reed. REEDTower is designed to fit bari, tenor, alto, as well as soprano reeds. You can fit that in there. You take that and you just want to slide that in there like that. Okay? And you'll know that it's correctly in at the right point if you see these little triangles. All right, you'll be able to see the reed tip right in the triangles, or you can flip it over to the other side and you'll see your reed in there. All right, So you want to repeat that and place that into your REEDTower AltAir case, right? I'm going to make this my number one read. There we go. That's our number one read. So let's repeat that with these other ones. We'll get these other ones here. My tenor read. Just slide that guy right in there. All right. My alto read. There we are. My soprano read. There we go. Put that in. You can do this up to 6 times. All right. If I have my clarinet reeds, I would do that as well. I don't have those here with me. And we'll just take these other ones and put those in here with that. Okay. Now what we want to do is we want to take the lid and you want to close it. Just like that. Okay? Don't close it too tight because we're going to do something that makes the REEDTower CO2 AltAir very, very special. And what that is, all right, it's just a little loose there. We want to take off the top here. Take the cap off. And remember this little valve, we want to open it, but we only want to open it halfway. Don't take it off all the way. All right, now we've got this open. Okay. We want to take our CO2 nozzle here, right? And we want to take one of our CO2 canisters. Now it's very, very important that you put the protective sleeve onto the canister because when you inject the CO2 into here, the canister itself will turn very, very cold. There's a reaction that occurs. It'll turn very, very cold. So you want the protective sleeve to protect your fingers so you don't get any kind of like frostbite or anything like that. What you want to do is you want to make sure this is completely turned to the off position. I hope you can see that. All right, so completely turn that to the off position. This would be on, this is off. Okay, and you want to screw this into here. All right, you want to make sure it's all the way in. You'll feel a little bit of resistance as it's puncturing it, but you want to make sure it goes all the way in. Okay, now for the purposes of this video, I'm going pretty slow. But when you learn how to do this, you can do all this within about a minute or two. So you'll see how this is here, that's all the way in there. All right, so we want to take the REEDTower AltAir case, the CO2 case, and we want to screw this onto there, like so. All right, screw that on. There we go. Okay, it's on there good. A little loose, that's what you want. Okay, now the next step is very, very important that you do correctly. You want to open this up very slowly. If you do it too fast, it'll overpressurize the case and the lid will pop off. That's actually a safety feature. Make sure that you don't overpressurize the case. So what we're going to do now is inject it with the CO2 air. So I want to open this very slowly, and you're going to hear all the air escape out the sides of the case. Hear that? I'll put it up to my microphone. Okay, I've opened it up very, very slowly. Now once I have it open, I want to open the lid just a little bit to let it escape. Not too much because we don't want the lid to fall off. Just a little bit. There we go. About a 1/8 turn, like that. And you'll see how it's getting frozen here. On the actual canister, it gets very, very cold. All right. Now we want to close that up. All right. Probably only want to keep that open for a second or two. Okay. And then we want to close the nozzle to completely the off position, such as that. And then we want to take this off. All right. There we go. Now we want to close the little safety screw here and put the cap back on. Excellent. Now, your reeds are inside the REEDTower CO2 AltAir case. All of the oxygenated air, or at least most of it, I should say. Most of the oxygenated air is outside of the case, and your reeds are protected from mold, microbes, bacteria, anything that can really attack them. And they are sitting in a vertical position for the vertical pressure bound reed holders to have them be in the most ideal way that they can be. Now, one last thing you want to do before you're done, you want to make sure all of the air is out of the canister, all the CO2. So you want to open this up again. Don't point it towards yourself or anyone else. Just open it up and let all the air come out. Now, usually I like to set this aside because it's cold. Once it comes back to room temperature, you can take this off and you can repeat the process. So we'll set that aside. That's that. Now, we have here the REEDTower vertical case, okay? This case is so that you can rotate your reeds in and out of the CO2 air case. So all your reeds that you just put in here, these are the ideal ones for your next gig, right? Now, as you're preparing new reeds for the gig thereafter, you can put them in here, into here. And these also have the same reed holders. All right, now one other thing I just want to show you, I have the lid here. Put the lid on, it snaps on like that. In order to take the lid off, you want to make sure that you're doing it like this. Pull it up with the one finger like that, and then pull it with your thumb. And then it snaps right off. Well, hey, that's it. This is the video instruction manual for REEDTower reed preservation system. I do hope that answers all of your questions about how to use REEDTower. There is on the REEDTower.com website a very detailed FAQ page, as well as a written version of these very instructions. So I want to thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for checking out this video, and I'll see you next time.